All right, you ready for this? Our listener wants to know, what if the two Maudes, you know, Maude Findlay, the outspoken feminist from the '70s sitcom, and Maude Flanders, the sweet, devoutly Christian neighbor from The Simpsons, had, like, a showdown?
That's a really interesting one. We're talking about two very strong, opinionated women, but from two very different worlds.
Right. I mean, Maude Findlay was, like, TV's first feminist icon. She was tackling things like abortion and women's rights in her sitcom. And, she came from All in the Family, so controversy was kind of her thing.
Yeah, she was a spin-off, right? So how would she react to Maude Flanders, who, let's be honest, represents a more traditional, maybe even conservative worldview?
Exactly. It's a clash of the titans.
Yeah. Imagine, like, Maude Findlay, after all these years, her sitcoms ended, she's feeling a little irrelevant. She was a huge deal, but times have changed, and now there's this new Maude.
Ouch. Yeah, that's got to sting a little.
Right. So one day, she's flipping through channels, feeling a little nostalgic. Suddenly, she hears this familiar tune. It's her old theme song. But instead of showing her show, it's The Simpsons. And there she is, Maude Flanders.
Oh, no, she didn't.
No, she did.
I bet Maude Findlay is, like, seeing red.
Yeah, I mean, she's the original uncompromising, enterprising Maude.
Yeah.
And this other Maude is, like, stealing her thunder.
So how does she get to Springfield? Does she just, like, hop on a plane?
Well, she has a connection. Remember her grandson, Philip? He was just a kid in the original show, but now he's all grown up, and guess where he lives? Springfield. And he's told her all about this quirky town, and one name keeps popping up. Maude Flanders.
Oh, this is so good. She's going to confront her rival on her own turf.
Exactly. Picture this. Maude Findlay, fueled by nostalgia and maybe a little bit of jealousy, she packs her bags and heads to Springfield. She's ready to show Maude Flanders who the real prime Maude is.
Oh, man. And wait, picture her getting out of a cab in Springfield. I mean, it's this world of bright yellow people and crazy situations. It's so not her sophisticated life in Tucko.
I know, right? It's like a culture clash waiting to happen. Maude Findlay used to cocktail parties and political activism, navigating, like, crusty burgers and nuclear power plant disasters.
Oh, this is going to be good. But okay, let's get to the main event.
Right.
The showdown at the Flanders doorstep. What's Ned going to think when another Maude shows up?
Right. It's a total sitcom setup. And then you have these two personalities colliding. Maude Findlay, she's known for her bluntness, her wit, that sharp tongue.
Oh, yeah.
And Maude Flanders, she's all about kindness and forgiveness, being a good Christian woman.
It's like an unstoppable force meeting an immovable object.
Yeah.
So does Maude Findlay, like, launch into a feminist tirade?
You bet. She lets Maude Flanders have it, accusing her of stealing her name, her legacy. She brings up all her battles, women's rights, her multiple marriages.
Oh, right. She had 4 husbands?
Exactly. And she talks about refusing to conform, all the things that made her Maude.
Wow. So it's a history lesson on feminism, Springfield style. But how does Maude Flanders react?
Well, in her own way, she stands her ground. She talks about her faith, family values, her belief in kindness, and she offers Maude some of her famous homemade cookies.
Oh, man, those cookies. I wonder if even Maude Findlay could resist those. Maybe that's how they end the rivalry, over cookies.
Maybe. But Maude Findlay, she's a woman of principle, right? Not sure cookies will change her mind no matter how good they are.
This is getting so good. Okay, but back to the real Maude for a sec. She was like a trailblazer for her time.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, Maude was on the air in the early 70s. Women were fighting for equal rights, and the show didn't shy away from any of it. They tackled abortion, domestic violence, even menopause.
Whoa, menopause on primetime TV.
I know, right? It was pretty unheard of at the time. That's what made Maude so groundbreaking. They were bringing these conversations into people's living rooms, making them think about these things, these uncomfortable truths.
And Maude wasn't just talking about it. She lived it.
Yeah.
She was always challenging her husband, Walter, her friends, anyone who had these outdated views.
Oh, yeah, totally. She was a true feminist icon, and her impact, it went way beyond the TV.
I bet.
The show sparked national conversations about women's roles, and it really helped pave the way for all these other feminist shows that came after.
Wow. So back in Springfield, how does this whole Maude versus Maude thing play out? Is it all just talk, or does it get, messy?
Well, Springfield is Springfield, right? Things rarely stay calm for too long. Just imagine Maude Findlay trying to, handle a Simpsons family dinner.
Oh, my God. That's a recipe for disaster. Can you picture her with Homer or Bart pulling some prank?
Oh, I can totally see her rolling her eyes, delivering one of those classic Maude Findlay zingers. But I think deep down, she might actually enjoy the chaos. She always did have a thing for the unconventional.
Yeah, that's true. And maybe the Simpsons could learn a thing or two from her about standing up for what they believe in and all that.
That's an interesting thought. This clash of their two worlds, it could lead to some real growth on both sides. Who knows?
Okay, so does this mean our two Maudes, they actually find some common ground? Like they bond over being Maude, even with all their differences?
Well, a sitcom has to have some kind of resolution, right? So picture this. After all the misunderstandings, all the cultural clashes, they end up at a Springfield town meeting.
Ooh, a town meeting. That sounds like the perfect stage for a showdown. What's the issue?
Let's say it's something near and dear to Maude Flanders' heart, banning rock music in Springfield.
Oh, no way. Maude Findlay would never go for that.
Exactly. She sees it as like a total attack on free speech, like all this conservative values she's been fighting against her whole life.
So does she grab the mic and launch into a defense of rock and roll?
Oh, yeah. Picture her in her signature pantsuit standing up there giving this impassioned speech about art and rebellion, individuality. She throws in some feminist quotes, some jokes, wins over even the most conservative folks in town.
That's our Maude. But what about Springfield Maude? How does she take all this?
At first, she's a little shocked. But then as she's listening, she starts to see things from a different perspective. Maybe there's room for both. Rock music and faith.
Wow. So it's not cookies that bring them together. It's like their shared passion for what they believe in.
Yeah, that's it. They may not agree on everything, but they both value strength, standing up for yourself, speaking your mind.
That's actually a really powerful message, especially these days when things feel so divided.
I know, right? It shows that even people who seem totally incompatible can find common ground, if they're willing to listen.
This is turning out to be a much deeper episode than I expected. But before we get too philosophical, let's talk about the real Maude, the woman who, opened the door for all these strong women on television.
Maude was just one part of B. Arthur's incredible career. After that, she went on to star in The Golden Girls, another show that really broke barriers, showing what it meant to be an older woman, female friendships, all that.
Oh, yeah, The Golden Girls? That show is huge. It feels like a natural, evolution from Maude in a way.
Yeah.
Still showcasing those strong, funny women.
Totally. And both shows, they were created by amazing female writers. It's no coincidence. Susan Harris, she co-created Maude and then went on to create The Golden Girls.
Really? I didn't know that. That's so cool. So there's this direct link from Maude and all its feminist battles to the humor and heart of Golden Girls.
Yeah, and that link, it's still there today. You can see how those shows influenced so many modern sitcoms, the ones that focus on women, explore these bigger issues, don't shy away from pushing boundaries.
It's amazing to think about how one show, Maude, really changed television, made way for more diversity, more inclusive stories.
And it all started with a woman who wasn't afraid to speak her mind, challenge everything, and make us laugh while she did it.
So what's, the big takeaway from all this Maude deep dive and our Springfield showdown?
Well, I think it reminds us that even though times change, cultures clash, there's always room for understanding, for connection, for a little bit of Maudeness in all of us.
I like that. It's like the ultimate message of hope. But I got to know, what happens to our two Maudes after that town meeting? Do they become friends? Start a feminist book club in Springfield?
Who knows? Maybe they bond over teen cookies, share stories. Maybe they go their separate ways, but with a newfound respect for each other.
Either way, it's a good ending to our imaginary crossover. So where can our listeners go if they want to see the real Maude in action? Where can they find some classic Maude episodes?
Oh, there are a few streaming platforms that have them. And honestly, I really recommend those controversial episodes, like the one where Maude has an abortion.
Right.
That was huge for its time. I mean, really sparked some important conversations about reproductive rights.
And that was before Roe v. Wade, right?
Yeah, it was 1972, super bold move, and there was a lot of backlash, even got banned in some places. But it also resonated with a lot of people. It helped to, make it less taboo to talk about.
Yeah, it makes you realize how powerful TV can be.
For sure. And, Maude wasn't all serious. It was funny. B. Arthur, she was so good. The writing was so smart.
Oh, absolutely. Do you have, a favorite episode or scene?
So many. But one that always comes to mind is when Maude and Walter go on this double date with Florida and her husband, Henry. It's just classic culture clash comedy.
Oh, yeah, I remember that one. Those two couples, it's just a recipe for hilarious misunderstandings.
Right. It shows how Maude used humor to, explore those social dynamics and challenge all those stereotypes.
Totally. And reminds us that, sometimes laughter is the best way to connect with people, understand each other.
Absolutely. So, as we wrap up this Maude deep dive, what do you hope our listener takes away from it all?
That's a good question.
Like, what's the one thing?
Well, I hope they go check out this show, really appreciate how groundbreaking it was, how much it changed things, and maybe, just maybe, they'll feel inspired to, channel their inner Maude, speak up for what they believe in, even when it's hard.
Well said.
So, on that note, we'll leave you with this final thought. In a world that often tries to shut down strong voices, let's celebrate the Maudes out there. The women who, dare to be different, who challenge the status quo, who remind us that laughter and compassion and a little bit of righteous anger can go a long way. Until next time, keep diving deep.